Welcome back, everyone, to the T.R.O.N Podcast. This is your host, Rashad Woods. Today, I have a very multi-talented guest on here. I've got a chance to listen to some of her music. I hope you do too after you get a chance to watch this episode. True Istina, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
First of all, you have such a compelling background. I got a chance to listen to some of your songs, and we're going to dive right into that. But first, you started getting the music at a very young age, at 2 from your mother. Can you give some background and insight into that, please?
Yeah, for sure. My mom was a music therapist, so she was always around music. We were always growing around music, me and my family. Me and my brother, we both sang. We just always were that kind of family. Like we loved to, Christmas carol, and we loved to just be together and we were the ones that sing in the car and have karaoke nights and all that. We were just that kind of family. And I always loved it because we grew up on so many different kinds of music. And it really shaped me as an artist.
That's fantastic. Now, you're independent. So can you give us a daily rundown of what life as an independent artist is? Because, I think that the internet has democratized music a little bit where people who are talented can really actually get out to a listening base and get what exactly their talents are and be heard. So what's life like as an independent artist, please?
Oh, okay. I do the series even on TikTok I've done before. It was like a day in an independent artist life. And really, it's everything. It's everything from, I think of where like my branding is to like my music videos to my music to literally everything across the board. It's basically I'm a label myself. But I absolutely love it because I'm really able to share my messages and, really get them across without, having anything like contradicted or anything because it's real. Like it's completely me. And from a daily basis, I mean, to think of it that way, of course, I work on music. I go through song lists for my music or anything I'm doing for new albums or new projects. I go through each song. There's a thing I used to do is that for my first album, I listened to every single song and made sure the order worked. I was that particular.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was that kind of artist.
So how does the songwriting process go? Is it just you? Do you have a team? Like, how does the song actually get structured and made for somebody who has no musical background?
It's just me. I start all of my songs a little bit differently. Some are just like a really late night like voice memo. And it's just like something that just comes out and I'm like, this is just, it flows. And then some I have like, music that really inspires me. And I'm like, I'm going to build something like that. And then I bring the feeling to it. And that's something I build too. And then I take it to my producer and then we finalize it and we build like the rest of the details in the studio and like voice record it. And if anything, like we maybe like change a couple things and make it a little bit more like clear, the message. But yeah, from start to finish, I mean, I'm pretty much involved with all of it.
That's awesome. So, what was really cool was I saw you performed at several big events, the 2018 Chinese Fair, 2019 House of Blues, then it was the Hard Rock Showcase of 2021. What was it like for all three of those events?
They were so fun. I mean, House of Blues is iconic, and it was crazy to perform there. I look back at photos, I'm like, wow, that's me on stage. I'm like, what? No, what? Because even seeing the names on the walls, I'm like, oh my God, I was there in those dressing rooms. It was crazy.
So, like, who were your musical inspirations growing up? Like, you obviously, you're described as acoustic pop, right? And so, but I'll be honest with you, like, you were so varied, it reminded me a lot of the artists. Like, I heard a lot of Meghan Trainor, like, in you, but I also heard, a little bit of Adele kind of as well, too. So I got a chance to listen to some of your album. Like, who were your inspirations when you were listening growing up?
Yeah, well, like I said, I grew up very, with a lot of different genres. Like, my family was always that kind. My dad loved rock. My mom loved, 80s, 70s love songs. So we were very spread across the board. And then I loved Carrie Underwood. So I'm like, we just got the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was one of those kind of kids, and I loved it. I love different kinds of music, and I think it really did shape me. And even now, I'm like, I think more about less about genre and more about the instruments I'm using and the feeling it's creating. Like I will add a cello, and then I'll add a saxophone because why not? It's
for sure.
If it matches the feeling, I will do it.
And the thing is, listen, I got an older daughter who plays a violin, and I got to tell you, when you actually see, your family artistic, even in ways that you weren't, and you realize the passion that comes out. Because I was listening to one of your interviews, and ironically, you're shy, which shocked me a little bit because I said, so your music is your way of saying the things authentically that maybe you as a person don't. So how is that such a contradiction? Because on paper, it seems like people who make music or artistic by default are very not shy type of personalities. That kind of surprised me.
Well, I think a celebrity, what you think of as the one who's super or bright, very much there, the one who's very forward. because
Right.
you have to ask them a lot of interviews, you get a lot of questions, people are crazy
Right.
sometimes. But the artist behind them, whether it's them or they have like a songwriter behind them or anything like that, we are
Hmm.
usually more internal because that's where it's
Right.
coming from. Like this was really started as my outlet. This is
Yeah.
what I started doing just to help myself, and it
Hmm.
wasn't for anybody else. It wasn't for the public.
Hmm.
It really wasn't. It was just for me. So when I started writing, like that's all I had in mind. It was
Right.
really just I was trying to understand myself, which is why I think like even today I'm working on it because you got to promote
Yeah.
yourself, especially as an
For
independent
sure.
artist.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
my music is really like what I wish I could be honest and say, but I'm still working to it.
Well, I think you've done an incredible job at it. So you said you never really intended to, release music to begin with. So what got you over that hurdle, and what finally said, you know what, I need to put.
Yes, well, I was always the singer, the dancer, the actor. That was always my thing. I loved the arts since I was younger. I used to do plays. I was in a dance competition team for a while. I loved the arts,
That's
always.
awesome.
But I was a singer, and that was the difference. Is like I never thought I would release my own music because it was so raw. I mean, it
Right.
was vulnerable.
Right. For
And that
sure.
was so scary, especially as I recorded my first song for this album at 15. My song for
Wow.
Fun, my first single, I was 15.
That's
And
amazing.
it was during COVID, and it was really like I was just kind of struggling because it was really
Yeah.
hard. I had, of course,
Oh my
school was
gosh.
out and stuff.
For
Oof,
sure. For
it was a
sure.
tough time. Like my
Yeah.
friend group had kind of just imploded, and it was really bad. And I was just like, I felt very alone. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't feel okay. And that's
Yeah.
all I knew. I didn't know why or what was happening or what was causing it. I just knew I didn't feel okay. And
Yeah.
so I started writing, and
Yeah.
it was really just something that just kind of happened. And then for Fun came, and then Walking the Line, and then New Life, and
And just
then
one
On
came out
Me.
after
And
the
just,
other, right?
yep.
Yeah.
Literally, it was supposed to just be one single, and I started recording, but
Right.
we fell in love with all the other songs. We're like, we just kept going, honestly. And we're like,
Good.
oh,
Good.
we have
Good.
an album. Okay.
Right. Fantastic. And the thing is about it, I think a lot of people kind of found themselves during that time period, right? Because, I mean, I wasn't 15 going, at that age bracket, but I think it affected everybody in different ways, and it made them look internally, whether it's how life operated, their priorities in life, or
Yes.
an outlet for creativity was born, good or bad, from people. And so I'm glad you saw the good side of, how things came to be for you, because, when I got a chance to listen to your music, a lot of it had to do with vulnerability, coming out of
Yeah.
your shell. I do have to ask a question. What does RMD stand for when I was listening to that track? 'Cause I loved that song, but I didn't know what it
Reach
meant.
my dreams.
Okay. Dope. Because I was like, RMD, like, I'm like, I was waiting for it to come into the song, and I'm not
It is
saying that in
there.
a
It's just
negative.
reach my dreams.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Maybe I was listening to it in my car, and I'm just like, maybe I was so caught up in everything else I was listening to. I was like, man, it's a really, really good song.
Thank you.
It was beautiful. How did your videos, like, how did you get such exquisitely, beautifully shot videos? Like, there was one where you're by the ocean, and the background that you run that stage. How did your video making process go?
Yes. Well, me and my creative director, Keyshawn Blackstone, we've worked together since my very first music video.
Hmm.
And the first one it was literally just a bunch of stages. Like,
Hmm.
we did not have any plan going to it. Like, we literally reached out to him and we're like, hey, you want to film a music video? He's like, sure. I remember you singing. You were incredible. I said I would do your first music video. Let's do it. And so that's
Yeah.
literally what happened at 15 years old. I'm like, oh my God. Even the fact now that people took
Wow.
a chance on me is crazy. But every single music video has been so much fun. We've built it from the ground up. Even the word is, we have a short film coming out soon that tells
Beautiful.
the story of the music video, as well as
Yeah.
Fantasy was filmed in Croatia. And we have actually the music video for my song New Life coming out today.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Listen, I want all the success for you, and I love the fact that you just churn out music. Does it just become, how do I phrase this properly? Does it become quote unquote easy after you start releasing song after song? Even though I know songwriting is much more complicated than I make it out to be, but is it just like the creative juices just keep flowing out one song after the other? Topics. Where do these topics come
There's a lot of times I will write 3 songs like in a day. And then there's
from?
some
Wow.
times where I'm like, I will try to write and I'm like, no, not today. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. It's like I'm not feeling the emotions I'm trying to get across. Like, it feels like
Hmm.
you're pushing. And I'm like, nope, that's not the one. That's okay. I'm
Right.
gonna take a break and do something else. Like that's
Correct.
something I've had to learn because I'm very critical of myself. I'll be
Hmm.
honest. I
Of
think
course,
most artists are, but
for sure.
it's hard because it is art and it's all subjective and everybody's opinions. So I
Mhm.
try to just think about it like, no, you're okay. You can take a break.
Right.
And then, those songs, the ones that like are the ones are usually they come out of nowhere. Like I'll play one, they're like, oh
Beautiful.
my God, that's the one. And we're like, okay, sure. I'm like, I wrote that on a random Tuesday at 5 a.m. morning. So okay, cool.
Yeah,
Glad.
but as long as it came out and you knew what time it was, you can feel it, right? Like, and you're
Yes.
not, and so I remember a quote from Dr. Dre. He was like, she's like, he was shy and he was reserved, and I'm like, dude, you made some of the best music of all time. And in my head,
Yeah.
he's like, it's ironic that he's actually reserved. Your Istina is a reference to your Croatian culture. How important was that to you to honor your Croatian culture?
So important. When I first started this, I wanted, first of all, there's two reasons why I chose the name. I wanted something that wasn't my actual name because this was such a different side of myself that I don't
Okay,
usually show. So I was
right,
trying to like make this its own thing so I could be confident enough to share it. Because I'm like, if
right,
I went by my real name, I think I'd be too scared still. So it was almost like it's a morale boost for me.
right, for
But
sure.
yeah, the second reason is because my baba and nono, my grandparents, are the ones
Hmm.
who started my whole music journey from everything from my first singles to coming to California with us for the first time. And they've always supported my music since the very beginning. And I love them
Beautiful,
so much. And just being on
beautiful.
the island, I feel so creative and so myself and so free. It's like you barely have service. It's a 5 by 5 mile island with no cars. So it
Really?
is you are as connected as nature as you can be,
Oh,
honestly.
that's wonderful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
How did you?
beautiful.
What was it like being like a quote, for lack of a better term, a teenage prodigy to be able to put music out at 15? I mean, a lot of I can't imagine even attempting to do something that risk taking at my age when I was 15 years old. I mean, I played basketball and you'd be scared to take a jump shot because you're scared somebody you might miss it. So, what made you get over that hump at 15 as a freshman, sophomore, junior in high school? Like, I'm going to do this and I don't care.
Honestly, I was very scared. It took me a very long time to finally say, okay, I'm giving the green light to my songs because I'm like,
Hmm.
we could do better. It could be better.
Hmm.
Everything could be better. Like, let's just do it again, one more
Yeah.
time, 10 more
Yeah.
times. I was like a good person. So I was
Yeah.
very scared. But when I finally am like, okay, you know what? What am I doing holding on to this? Like,
Yeah.
this music helped me so much that I want to help other people. I'm like, this is my chance. I'm like, why don't I help people? And the longer I hold on to it, I don't know what that's going to impact.
Right.
So really, when I released it, I got comments with people saying like, this just gave me one more day of hope. I'm like,
Right.
oh
Right.
my God, the fact that my music could do that, I'm like, that is literally the goal. And it,
Right.
it was incredible. It was like that moment, I'm like, okay, I'll do it, I guess. I'm
Yeah.
scared still, but I'll do it. I'm like, I gotta.
But sometimes it's a reflection of how somebody else is feeling. And you talked about your background, whether it was, unfortunate instances of bullying and other experiences that you went through. And I can feel that coming through in some of your music. How did, was that your way of dealing with those situations to make music with what you went through?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I think, well, I've been in counseling since I was younger and stuff, like, just normal stuff. My
Of
parents got
course.
divorced when I was younger in high school.
Yeah.
So it was complicated for sure. And
Yeah.
so I was in it since I was younger, especially with the bullying and stuff.
Mm.
But at a point it felt like I was just kind of saying the same thing every week. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not really getting to the root cause of it. I'm
Right.
like it's
Right.
helping me with coping with it, but I think I'm also kind of pushing it down.
For
So
sure.
during COVID, I'm like, I was literally forced to look at myself and be
Yes.
like, okay, what are you doing? Are you going to
Yeah.
do something about this? Or are you just going to sit on your butt and hope it
Yes.
goes away? Like, honestly. So I'm
That's
like, that
it.
was the moment, honestly.
That's crazy you picked that up at a 15-year-old age because some people spend an entire lifetime and don't ever get to that point. So I can't say enough nice things about that you found that out early that, hey, this is what I need to do to get this off my chest, so to speak.
Yes, I'm really grateful, honestly. And that's why I even want a nonprofit when I'm older because I want to help kids
Yeah,
find their artistic freedoms and, like, what they need is an outlet to help them get through stuff or
right,
find maybe their dream that they don't
right.
even know yet.
Right. Well, I'll say this too. I think that because you're on the internet and there's other streaming platforms to be able to listen to music, people can quickly connect to people with what they went through. Previous
Right.
generations really didn't have that outlet because either there wasn't somebody that, I mean, they could buy a record, they could listen to a radio, but they had to wait for certain things. Where here you
Yes.
are giving people in real time what they want, and you're accessible on social media as well too. So that lonely young adult, that lonely teenager has the opportunity to hear your music and be uplifted. Because music, contrary to popular opinion, is not just something you just dance to, have a good time. When you
Yeah.
listen and absorb the words, you're like, I can relate to that. That's how I'm feeling this exact moment. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
That's why songwriting is so different for me from being just a singer, is that like these are my real messages and I
Yes.
connect with the lyrics, and that's why I'm connecting to people because I know how to share them. I'm not just
Right.
the singer anymore.
Right. Right. Do you play instruments too?
Yes, I play guitar and piano, and I have a cello, which I would love to learn because it's my favorite instrument.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. So, a little off question. What do you do when you're not making music? Because I know that at the end of the day, you may need a break. Maybe songwriting isn't that particular day, that day, right? And
Mhm.
you're like, hey, I need to decompartmentalize. What do you do outside of making music?
Well, I love going hiking, always have.
Beautiful.
I think that
Beautiful.
connects back to my Croatian heritage and
Yeah.
everything, but I've always loved it. I love being in nature and I love painting. I love like
Wonderful.
sketching. I love painting
Wonderful.
landscapes. That's my
Okay.
favorite, honestly.
Nice.
I think that also ties back to nature.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
I love that stuff. And even when I'm not, necessarily like songwriting, I like will choreograph one of my songs or like,
Mm-hmm.
work on, the music video or the concept or anything like that. Like I'll go
Mm-hmm.
from different parts of the creative so I don't get like almost sick of it. Because for me, it's so strange that the weirdest thing about releasing The Word Is recently
Mm-hmm.
is that I released it and I'm like, okay, finally, it's out. Yay. But I
Yeah.
had that song for like a year. And people were like,
Wow.
this is brand new. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, I've had this forever.
It's funny because it's the same thing with like a movie, right? Like a movie,
Mhm.
just it's like it's just because it may have came out next week. It's been in production stages for the last 16 to 18 months, right? So a lot
Yes.
of things can change, but it's new to the recipient of the actual movie, film,
Exactly.
music, and you're like, dude, man, like I'm an album. I'm on my next album already.
Yes. I'm bored of that song. And they're like, wow, I'm so new. I'm like, no, it's not. Oh, wait,
no,
yes, it is. Yes,
yeah,
it is. That's right.
that's awesome. So you have 200,000 streams, 100, and it looked so like. How did you do this as an independent artist? I mean, that is an incredible hustle.
Honestly, I think I was just reaching the right people and that people were seeing the message and the vision and my music and my music videos and everything because
Mhm.
we just built this off of what my message was and my
Right,
mission, honestly. And
right,
from there we just kind of we kept it going and it's crazy to think about that because I'm like I'm still an independent artist, like what?
yeah, right.
But it's like I'm so grateful, honestly, that even have the people listening to me now or have come back to listen to my new stuff because it's evolved with me as well. So I'm
For
very
sure.
excited for the new stuff.
So, do you plan on staying in that quote unquote same musical lane? And again, I don't know how to word this as I'm not a musician, but I listen to a lot of music, right?
Mhm.
Is there something that you want to dive into that you're like, I'm going to take like a different musical direction, or do you just let it go organically?
I think I'm definitely mixed. Like I think
Okay.
pop has influenced my style a lot,
Right.
which is why I of course conclude it, but I'm not
Yeah.
just pop. It's not
Right.
just that simple kind of feeling or that beat or anything like that. I
Yeah.
definitely mix more alternative pieces to it or like
Right.
moments and stuff. And I think
Right.
Walking the Line, which was the last single I released, is kind of
Oh,
a lead in to kind of my new style because that
yeah.
song was the first song that I co produced.
Nice.
That was
Nice.
kind of like the moment where I'm like, I'm finding my sound as well as, how I write.
For sure. So, like, I'm a huge grunge fan, right? So, I know you have different musical influences, and your songs are obviously about uplifting. And whenever you're like, one of my favorite singers of all time is the late Lane Staley of Alice in Chains, and he really, I'm not sure how familiar you are with them, but he really got down the depth of like you could feel his heart into things when he
Yeah.
sang because he had a lot of pain that he was dealing with, and you're the opposite of that as far as experience. He unfortunately had some personal issues that led to his demise, but I felt it coming out of you, and not just a song an artist was singing off of a sheet of paper. So,
Yes.
and you can tell when you hear it too. So when you're talking about your therapy, you're talking about personal situations that you persevered through. I could hear it, and I saw it when I was watching your videos as well too. So can you just walk through that process of that's some pretty private stuff to put out there. So how did you feel get over that hump?
Yes, well, I think definitely those songs that kind of show that is The Word Is and Wasting My Time. Those are the two songs that are like the most that kind of feeling to them, including
Right.
Fantasy too, as well.
Right.
But The Wasting My Time was the second music video I'd ever done, and I'm like, I wanted that song to showcase the emotions. I'm like,
Yes.
and I had to. I'm like, this has to feel like that back and forth, that push and pull, where like you're just kind of stuck in this like box, and you're like,
Yeah.
you literally have the key in your hand, but you're like, what leads to outside? It's like I'm scared.
Of
It's like it
course.
really is that moment, and it's like
Right.
this is safe, even though it's painful. You're living in a box. But
Yeah.
it's safe. And that was the thing with that song is like I really wanted to showcase that. And then the word is, which is of course my newest one, is like
Mm.
it's finding that moment when a relationship's just not what it was. And it
Yes.
changes. And that's what I really wanted to showcase because I'm like, not every relationship starts toxic. You can't tell the red flags immediately. It's
Right. Right. Right.
people change and grow. And if they don't match each other anymore, or they're not both growing, because you have to both grow together and be partners, it
Right.
doesn't work anymore.
For sure. And the thing is about it is I love the way you talk about evolution and how you're supposed to be, for lack of a better term, you're not supposed to think at 10 and 15 and 20 because you have a very narrow viewpoint of the world. And when I was listening to Wasting My Time, I couldn't help but think, man, is this about a particular person or is this a general feeling of human growth? And I don't want to get too personal, but how did that particular one song in particular come out?
That song in particular, I'll be honest, that was about a couple people that were in my
Mhm.
life at the time. And it was really just, I mean, even the line, fire and rain, they come again, but the pain don't go
Yes.
away. Like that
Right.
line, I still love that
Yes.
line of today, but it's real. It's honest. It's
Yes.
like the storms will pass and stuff like that, but
Right.
it'll come back. And, you still feel that pain, whether they apologize a million times, whether you like try to, move forward and stuff, like you still will feel that pain. And sometimes people make you feel guilty for
Oh,
feeling
for
that
sure.
pain.
For
And that's
sure.
like one thing with the song. I'm like, it's okay to feel that pain. It's okay to feel those emotions, to let them wash over you. Even if you're like, I'm trying to move on, I'm not trying to make them feel guilty anymore. No,
Yes.
no, it's
Yes.
not about them. It's about you.
It's
What do
about
you
you.
need to heal?
Right, right. And I thought that video was beautifully shot. Do you tour, and what are the plans while you're to grow your music, grow your audience base?
Yes. Well, right now we have an album called The Real coming out in August, which
Nice.
I'm very excited for because my last one came out, what is it, 3 years ago? So
Yeah, nice.
crazy. Yes. So excited because even my music and my songwriting has evolved and, I've
Hmm.
changed and a lot's happened. So it's evolved
Hmm.
with me as well. But I'm super excited about that as well as, like I said, The Word Is that came out recently, which is my newest single. I'm
Yeah,
having the short film come out very soon, which will be
nice.
so fun because I started as an actress. So I'm very excited about that. And
Good for
then my
you.
music video for New Life, as well as my music life for RMD and for my song and my song Walking the Line, which I filmed in Croatia, will be coming out
Oh,
very
that's
soon.
wonderful. That's awesome.
Yes.
So you got the chance to hit with the family roots as well too.
Yes. I was so excited to showcase the island. I'm like, we
Oh,
ain't doing
it's
anything green screen. This is all real.
beautiful. I loved your album cover too, because when you talked about you're shy, you talk about the music as your expression, and you're face to face on your album, facing each other. I was like, that was a deeper meaning. Like that makes sense. I'm projecting myself into my music, and
Yes.
that's an opportunity to give the version of myself that I'm not in my daily walks of life. Is that accurate?
Yes, absolutely. When I designed that cover, because I made that myself, I really
Jeez.
I came up with every single album cover for the first releases, which is I was
What don't
15,
you do,
but
right?
literally, I'm like, I am a jack of all trades, I guess you call it.
Wonderful.
But yeah, when I designed that, it was really about showing the two sides, the real world versus, the artist, as
Yeah.
well as like the hopeful side versus the realistic. Meeting where you are, which is like, wasting my time, songs like that, and then
Yeah.
also like, having hope, which is like moving forward, which is new life, reach my
Yeah.
dreams and all that stuff. So it's like once you get past understanding where you are, you got to move forward and have that hope to get back up.
What advice do you have to upcoming people who make music who are trying to, do I sign with a label? Who's going to hear me?
Mm.
There's a lot of self-doubt that can keep people from actually taking the steps that you've taken. I mean, I can relate on a lower level with doing this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Am I going to look stupid? Am I going to get people who are going to want to listen to me? Do I have compelling content? Am I going to grow and not be the same interviewer that I was from my first episode to what is now in my mid 50s of it? So what advice do you have for people who are, trying to do what you're trying to do?
Well, I'm gonna get real, honestly. With me, I'm like, there have been times where I'm like, okay, which path should I take? I'm
Mhm.
like, because everything becomes very businesslike. I mean, it still comes back to it's a business. Because I'm an independent artist, I know this more than most people who are just like, I just want to get into music. It's a lot of business. But
Yes.
the thing that I always come back to and the thing that's kept me grounded is I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm doing this to
Right.
connect people. I'm doing this to help
Right.
people. I'm doing this to build a community. I'm doing this to save someone. I'm doing this so someone feels understood. Like that is why I'm doing this. And whoever is
Right.
supposed to join my journey, I'm very much a slow burn type of person. I'm like, you join
Nice.
and we build together. We're not gonna, this is
Nice.
not like hit it and home run. I'm like, no, because that won't
Right.
last. I'm
For
like, I don't
sure.
want to hit wonder. I want to make music that makes you feel complete through my career.
Absolutely. And the thing is about it was, I think the beautiful thing about music is, at least for me personally, was it was like if you like something, it doesn't matter what genre it is. Sometimes
Yes.
you can sit back and say,
Yes.
well, I'm not going to listen to acoustic pop in my car. Like, look at me, right? Like, what I look like popping acoustic pop, right? But I'm like, I'm in my car. I'm like, I don't give a damn. I'm in the mood. I'm like, this girl can sing. And it wasn't, sometimes you could put an artificial limitation on yourself because you're not supposed to listen to certain music. You're not supposed to like certain songs. And that's not supposed to be cool because you're only supposed to stay in this respective lane of what you're absorbing on your day-to-day trials. But I got to be honest with you. I think I'll be listening to some more acoustic pop going forward because I've really enjoyed your music.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree 100%. That's even something I have to like remind myself. I'm like, you're not trying to follow the trends. For what?
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't need to be like them. They already exist. They're
Right.
amazing artists. I'm like,
Right.
I don't need to be their copycats. Like, I need to be me.
Right.
And that is hard, especially with social media and so
Oh,
many
for
artists
sure.
and everything. Like, I 100% get it. I'm like, I'd be so much further if I made a song like that. Well,
Right.
yeah, but it wouldn't be real. I'm like, I would
Exactly.
lose the people who truly know me as an artist and
Right.
see my vision and my music and feel it. Like, I would lose those people. I'm like, why would I do that? Even to myself, because I would
Absolutely.
probably be miserable after like number two. I'd be like, this is popular. Let's make a second one. Okay, I'm done. I quit.
Right.
I'm retiring.
I get it. I get it. And and I think just briefly, is there a difference between a commercial artist signed to a label versus independent who gets to make decisions and stay true to their artistry? Are there differences between the two?
It depends on the label. The music industry has changed a lot, for
Okay.
sure. And now a label is more like you build yourself as an artist and then they come in and give you the support you need.
Okay.
They don't build artists anymore, which is honestly why I want a label when I'm older because I would love to build artists again. I want to
Right.
find people who are truly passionate and
Right.
give them the platform and the resources and the tools to be able to compete with these huge artists.
Right.
But right now, it's really you got to build everything yourself and
Yeah.
then they'll give you the
Okay,
resources.
okay, because you would hear, they would have people cut hair, they would have people, you need to
Mhm.
lose weight,
That's
you
how
need
it
to wear
used
a
to
certain
be.
right, and I would just read about it, right, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
man, that, and then you would hear people who ended up miserable because they're like, that's not who I am, so
Mhm.
it's good that you get a chance to build your own base, and that, for lack of a better term, this is who I am, and this is how it's going to be for me to put out the best music possible, stay to my authentic self and my fan base. So it's
Yes,
wonderful.
and I think even now, I think I've learned so much through my music, and I'm glad that I started as an independent artist because I've learned all different avenues of this world, and I'm
Hmm.
I'm really grateful because it's really helped me know myself and my artistry and everything, and know what my career is like, and from every different angle. But I would love to like work with people who also see my vision. So I'm not against
Wonderful.
it because, of course, I'd love to outreach. Like I want to meet people like in South Korea and China. I'm
Of
like, I
course.
gotta get over to the other side of the world. I'm
Yeah,
like, how do I
yeah,
get to like that
exactly.
stuff? Of course, like I would love for, people to help me continue my journey all around the world and everything. So it's like I really just got to find the people who see what I'm doing and see my vision and my mission and everything and just
Yeah,
want to help the world.
that's awesome. And here's the thing is about it. You never know who's listening sometimes, right? Like,
Yes.
I figured out from this podcast, in my small little corner of the earth, I'm like, somebody heard that? I'm like, I'm just a guy with just a set of headphones on, just asking questions.
That's
So
how it feels.
you know what I mean? So where can people find you? They don't need me, but I always want to give the guest the opportunity to broadcast themselves.
Yes, so on YouTube as True Istina, which is TrueIstina, and then TrueIstina.official on Instagram, TikTok,
Mhm.
I think Twitter, X. Twitter's X now,
Yes,
that
yes.
one.
Yeah, right.
Any platform, Spotify is True Istina, Apple Music, anywhere you stream music. And yeah, my newest song is The Word Is, which was my newest single, and the music video came out on YouTube.
I'll be honest with you. I was bumping your stuff. I drove, to get a feel for, you're listening. I have small children at home, and I needed to just get away so I could hear what you make. I got to be honest with you. I'm totally impressed, and your talent speaks for itself, and I wish you nothing but continued success.
Thank you so much. Honestly, that means a lot.
It really, of course. And I'm honored that you carved out a time out of your busy schedule. If there's a bad song made about the guy who you interviewed I'll know who the topic, you know what I mean? So
song's general enough. You have an inkling, but you won't know.
Yeah, like it's gonna be one of those subtle things. I'm like, what? Yeah, maybe I had that one coming.
Guy in the blue shirt.
For sure. I got to be honest with you. True Istina, I would thank you so much for your time. Wish you wonderful success. And everybody on the T.R.O.N Podcast, support her music, please.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
It's been awesome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.